Slowly but surely, news about the 2023 NFL schedule is coming out. And this morning we found out that the Detroit Lions will be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football to open the 2023 NFL season. It's a good matchup. The Lions, high-scoring offense, the Chiefs, high-scoring offense, and of course the Chiefs are the reigning champs. Now, if this matchup was at Ford Field, I would have no problem saying the Lions win. But it's at Arrowhead. Chiefs are coming off their Super Bowl victory, so it makes me a little less confident, but I'm still confident in saying the Lions are going to win this game. When this news broke out all over Twitter, there were so many replies of, wow, the Chiefs are starting their season 1-0. Why would they make this the week 1 matchup? This is going to be boring as hell. The Lions were just getting dogged on. There was a ton of hate, and so many people were saying the Lions are going to lose by 20. And reading all those comments just make me want the Lions to win so much more. But honestly, I'm not surprised that people were saying that type of thing. I was just kind of surprised that there were that many of them. And I believe it's just because it's the Chiefs. I've never really talked to a Chiefs fan or anything before, but I believe the consensus around the NFL is that Chiefs fans suck. I've seen so many comments or replies or people talking about the Chiefs fans and how they're just so annoying and things like that. So maybe Chiefs fans are just really annoying and I've never really experienced that before, or it's just hate on the Lions. It's probably a mix of both. So the first thing I would say to any of these people doubting the Lions against the Chiefs week 1 is that the Lions had a top 5 offense last season in points per game. The Lions had one of the nastiest offenses last season, and of course the Chiefs were the number 1 scoring offense because Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are a cheat code, but a matchup between 2 of the highest scoring offenses last season is going to be a great game no matter who wins. And speaking of who's going to win, I truly think the Lions will win because Kansas City last year I don't feel like was as dominant as they've been in years prior. The Chiefs won 14 games last season, and out of those 14 games, 9 of their wins were by just 1 score, a vast majority of them. Overall, 10 out of their 17 games were decided by just 1 score. 9 of them they won, 1 of them they lost. And I'm not saying the Chiefs are bad just because they win by 1 score. It's because Patrick Mahomes is clutch and they can win at the last second consistently, and that's what makes the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes so good. It's not like the Vikings last season where they keep winning by 1 score, but everyone knows that they're frauds because the Vikings weren't as good as their record portrayed them. The Chiefs, they are as good as the record portrayed them, but I feel like it was a weaker 14-3 because they weren't winning by 10 or 20 points consistently. I feel like it just makes them a little less scary. Now defensively, people that don't know the Lions are going to say that the Lions have no defense and the Chiefs are going to win 40-20. Well, the Lions did finish 28th in points per game allowed last season, but we all knew they had the youngest team in the NFL last season. Their defense grew throughout the season and got stronger and stronger. We saw James Houston come in on Thanksgiving and finish with 8 sacks through 7 games. And with their additions in the draft, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, the Lions now have an elite secondary after the draft and free agency. I think the Lions defense is going to really surprise a lot of people this upcoming season. I feel like there's a chance the Lions could blow out the Chiefs with their elite offense and their super strong secondary. Man, I'd love to see the Lions secondary just shut down Patrick Mahomes. It probably won't happen, but there's a chance it could happen. It'd be extremely exciting. I also think the Lions will win because I'm not really feared of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Sure, they finished in 18th for points per game allowed last season, but I would argue that the Chiefs faced way weaker offenses than the Lions did last year. And even though the Chiefs had a fairly solid defense last year, and I feel like the Chiefs never really go for a super strong defense because they just want to keep Patrick Mahomes healthy, and Patrick Mahomes always finds a way to somehow win the game. But something to look for will be that the Chiefs had a top 10 rush defense last season, so it'll be interesting to see how that matches up with Jahmyr Gibbs. However, the Chiefs, the passing side of the ball, were not as strong as their defense, ranked 20th for passing yards per game allowed. Another thing that'll be interesting to watch is the Lions' run defense against Isaiah Pacheco. The Chiefs took another running back in the 2022 NFL Draft in the 7th round. That's when they took Pacheco. Pacheco came out for the 2022 season and overtook Clyde Edwards' role as starter. Even though the Lions had one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL last season, I don't think all hope will be lost with their week 1 matchup against Kansas City. They've shown that they can defend against the run at some points, and I say at some points because when we talk about the Lions rush defense, the most recent thing everyone remembers is the Carolina game. It was tough, but against the Giants, the Lions stopped Saquon Barkley and held him to only 22 yards on 15 carries, which was unbelievable. Aaron Glenn's defense might be able to stop Pacheco if we have the right schemes. With the Lions' new additions from the draft and free agency, the Lions might be able to stop him, but we'll have to see. I'll be looking forward to see how will the Lions defense do against the run. Can they stop Isaiah Pacheco? How will the Lions get to the quarterback? Will James Houston, Hutchinson, are they going to be able to get to Patrick Mahomes? That'd be awesome as well. And we'll have all the Lions' new defensive backs making their debut. Hopefully the Lions secondary can be on lockdown. Offensively, Gibbs and Montgomery, so their Lions debut as well. Hopefully they have great days. That's going to be super exciting. Gibbs' explosiveness, Monty's moves. I would have liked to see Williams in there as well. Kind of sucks he can't start, but you know, the 6-game suspensions, whatever. And what will Ben Johnson cook up for the Lions? What crazy play are we gonna see? I'm really excited for the season to start. I know it's 4 months away, but that time's gonna fly by and it's gonna be here before you know it. For the Lions, being on prime time, being the season's opener with a good outing, they could really show everyone that they are the real deal, that they're out here to play even with a loss. If it's a close game like it was on Thanksgiving against the Bills, the Lions can prove themselves because still they're being doubted, and hopefully they do that. I'm also excited to watch the Lions on primetime. We have Chiefs week 1 Thursday night football. Week 4, I believe it was leaked that Green Bay's Thursday night football, and then week 8 against the Raiders Monday night football. And the Lions also have Thanksgiving at home against Green Bay. I'm pretty sure that one is solidified. The schedule officially comes out tonight, so we will see how many primetime games the Lions get. Last year, the Lions had 0 primetime games. Each team is allowed to have 6 primetime games, and this year the NFL came out and said that every team will not be getting a guaranteed primetime game like years past. But the funny thing is the Lions didn't even get a primetime game last year. They only had Thanksgiving at 12:30, which the NFL said counted. But for the Cowboys had 6 primetime games, which is the max, and they also had Thanksgiving, but the NFL said that Thanksgiving didn't count for the Cowboys, but it counted for the Lions as primetime. So it's whatever. I like the Lions playing at 1 p.m. every Sunday. You get that consistent routine. They have the week off every time, because you know everyone hates Thursday night football, but they're never going to stop it because of the cash flow. We'll see what the Lions schedule is and how many primetime games they get when it comes out. I hope they have at least 1 primetime game at home. That'd be exciting, not counting Thanksgiving. I'm excited that the Lions do play the Chiefs week 1 because a lot of these players haven't played together. Sure, they're going to be practicing together in training camp, but going on the field for a game can be a lot different. So it's nice that you get it all out week 1 against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are probably going to be the Lions' hardest opponent for the whole year until they get into the playoffs. If they don't get into the playoffs, that's going to be a whole nother story. But the Chiefs are going to be the Lions' hardest opponent until the postseason. So if the Lions go out, beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, that's going to build a lot of confidence for this team, and they might be able to ride it until week 8, week 9, just off that Chiefs win. Beating the defending champs in Kansas City would be huge. But if the Lions lose, it's not that big a deal. It's week 1, you're playing the Chiefs, you're playing the defending champs. A lot of these players are making their debuts, and you know it's week 1, it might be a little sloppy, so it's nice the Lions are going into a week 1 matchup without a ton of pressure on them. We saw Lions thrive as the underdogs against Green Bay in week 18. Everyone's down the Lions again. Hopefully they go in there relaxed, hungry, and take the dub. This will also be Jared Goff's and Patrick Mahomes' second time facing off. They met back in 2018, and Jared Goff and the Rams took the dub 54-51. Goff threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Mahomes threw for 478 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. What a game that was. Hopefully it's another shootout like that. Well, hopefully not, because I want the Lions defense to do good. Anyway, it's going to be a great game. I'm extremely excited. I'm telling you here, the Lions are going to win it. Week 1, open up the season right. They're going to have a nice week and a half to rest for week 2. And hopefully they're just going to ride that wave throughout the whole season. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and make sure you continue to pray on the Packers' downfall. Fuck the